Imagine bringing home a rescue dog to complete your perfect family, but just days later, the dog starts showing terrifying obsession with your newborn baby, pacing, whining, refusing to leave the nursery door. Most parents would panic. Most would return the dog to the shelter immediately. But what if the dog was not trying to hurt the baby? What if the shelter dog was the only one who knew the baby was in mortal danger? This is the exact terrifying scenario a young family faced, and it completely shatters everything we think we know about animal instincts. We are quick to judge shelter dogs. We label them unpredictable, damaged, or dangerous. But science tells a completely different story. Dogs possess a biological radar so advanced that it puts modern medical equipment to shame. Today, we are going to dive deep into the true story of a shelter dog that uncovered a hidden medical crisis. We will explore the psychological reasons why humans misinterpret animal behavior and the incredible physiological triggers that allow dogs to smell fear, sickness, and even death before it happens. Let us start from the beginning. A young couple decides to adopt a large, intimidating mixed-breed dog from their local shelter. The dog had been returned twice before. The shelter volunteers warned that the dog had anxiety issues, but the couple felt a connection and decided to give this misunderstood animal a third chance at life. For the first few weeks, everything was perfect. The dog was gentle, quiet, and deeply loyal. Then, the couple brought their newborn baby home from the hospital. Instantly, the dog behavior changed. The calm, quiet rescue dog transformed into an anxious, obsessive shadow. It would pace outside the nursery. It would press its nose against the door and let out low, distressing whines. The parents were terrified. Was the dog jealous? Was it exhibiting predatory behavior? The father even considered taking the dog back to the shelter, fearing for his child's safety. But here is where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. To understand what was really happening, we have to look at the physiology of a dog nose. A human has about 6 million olfactory receptors. A dog has up to 300 million. The part of a dog brain devoted to analyzing smells is 40 times greater than ours. They do not just smell the world. They read it like a biochemical map. When humans get sick, our body chemistry changes. We emit tiny amounts of volatile organic compounds through our breath and our pores. Dogs can detect these compounds in parts per trillion. That is the equivalent of detecting a single drop of liquid in 20 Olympic swimming pools. The shelter dog was not stalking the baby. The dog was smelling a biochemical alarm bell. This next part is what nobody wants to admit about human nature. We let fear blind us to the truth. The parents looked at the dog pacing and assumed malice. They projected their own anxieties onto the animal. This is a classic psychological defense mechanism. When we encounter something we do not understand, our brains default to the worst-case scenario to protect us. That we see a threat, even when there is a guardian. Ask yourself this: how many times in your own life have you completely misjudged someone's intentions because you were acting out of fear? How many times have you pushed away the exact person that was trying to help you just because their method made you uncomfortable? One night, the situation reached a breaking point. The dog began violently scratching at the nursery door, barking frantically. The parents jolted awake, furious and exhausted. The father marched down the hall, fully prepared to lock the dog in the garage and call the shelter. The very next morning, he threw open the nursery door, ready to yell. But the dog did not attack. Instead, it sprinted to the crib and shoved its snout through the bars, whining in pure panic. The father looked down at his newborn. The baby was silent. Too silent. The baby was turning blue. It was a severe respiratory anomaly. The child had stopped breathing because of the dog's frantic warning. The parents were able to perform emergency CPR and call the paramedics just in time. The doctors at the hospital confirmed that if they had arrived even 60 seconds later, the baby would not have survived. The dog had smelled the drop in blood oxygen levels. The dog had heard the subtle change in the baby breathing pattern that a baby monitor could not pick up. The dog knew exactly what was wrong, and it risked being thrown back into a cage to save a child it had only known for a few days. What makes this even more incredible is the trauma this specific dog had endured. Shelter dogs often come from backgrounds of abuse and neglect. They have every reason to distrust humans. Yet, their capacity for empathy is hardwired into their DNA. Studies show that dogs release oxytocin, the love hormone, when they gaze into human eyes. They are the only species on Earth, other than humans, that actively seek out human eye contact for comfort. This shelter dog, despite being abandoned twice, chose to protect its new pack with zero hesitation. Think about the absolute tragic irony. The very behavior that almost got the dog sent back to the shelter was the behavior that saved the family. But this raises a terrifying question. How many other misunderstood animals are sitting in shelters right now, labeled as problem dogs, when they actually possess a level of intuition and loyalty that we can barely comprehend? The next time you see a shelter dog, do not just see a broken animal, and see a creature with senses we can only dream of, and a heart that is willing to forgive a lifetime of human cruelty for a single chance at love. This dog was given a third chance at life, and in return, it gave a baby their first chance at life. If this story changed the way you look at shelter dogs, hit that subscribe button right now. We uncover the most incredible psychological and physiological truths about the world around us every single week. Drop a comment below and tell us if you think animals have a sixth sense. Do not forget to like the video, and I will see you in the next one.